Okay.
This is the Timeout Nelson Sam. Today we'll be going over topics like who is the most surprising player on every NFL team. Nelson, take it away on the Cardinals.
For the Cardinals, we got Kenyon Drake. He has rushed the ball 119 times for 512 yards, getting 4 yards in attempt and punching 4 into the end zone. He's only played 69 games and rushed the ball 565 times. Came off a decent year last year, and this year looks to be a little more promising.
Yeah, definitely a decent year, you can say, for the Miami Dolphins last year, but on to the Falcons.
For the Falcons, we have Dante Flower Jr. He has 2 sacks and 8 tackles and 1 forced fumble on a Falcons team that's pretty much absolutely sucked. And so there's not really many surprising players on that team, unless if you count surprisingly bad.
That's a good one, but on to the Ravens.
The Ravens, I think I'm gonna go with Bowser. Sorry. He has 2 sacks, 10 tackles, 0 forced fumbles. But still, this Ravens team has not been exceptionally amazing like they were last year. And so this is one of their good points.
Yeah, Price Bowser, good player. Nothing special, just surprising, you know. People didn't expect him to be this good. Nelson, next team.
We have the Buffalo Bills. This is a no-brainer right here. It's got to be Josh Allen. He has 68.9 completion percentage for 2,587 yards, 8 yards per pass attempt. He has 19 touchdowns and only 5 interceptions. Last year, the Buffalo Bills barely made it into the playoffs as a wild card. And this year, they're looking far more better than they were last year. And that's part of Josh Allen being good.
Yeah, definitely Josh Allen, definitely surprising. People expect him to be pretty good, not this good, not MVP candidate. Josh Allen, but on to the Carolina Panthers.
Another pretty much no-brainer. We have Robbie Anderson. He has 60 receptions for almost 1,000 yards, but only at 751. He has 12 yards per reception, only 1 touchdown. But still, this Carolina Panthers team has struggled with injuries of their top player, Christian McCaffrey. And Robbie Anderson stepped up, and he's had a really good year.
Yep, on to Chicago Bears.
The Chicago Bears have not been good either, but Jimmy Graham has stuck out a little bit. He has 35 receptions, 302 yards, 8 yards per reception, and 5 touchdowns. Again, the Bears have not been a very good team this year, and Jimmy Graham stuck out.
Yep, definitely. He's an older player. He played for the
Saints.
Yeah, he played for the Saints. He
played for the Saints.
He played for the Seahawks, which was more of his notable days. And it's really been bouncing around the league.
He's also played for the Packers, and now he's at the Bears.
Yep.
Next for the Bengals, we have Carl Lawson. The Bengals also another team that hasn't been that good. But Carl Lawson has 3.5 sacks, 7 tackles, and 1 forced fumble. We'll see how good he is up against the Steelers this week. See if he can step up in that game.
Yeah, we got the Cleveland Browns with Kareem Hunt, definitely an interesting player. Now some stats.
Kareem Hunt coming off a couple bad years where he didn't play. He has 115 rushes on 5,000 yards. He's getting 4 yards per attempt, and he has 3 touchdowns. Last year he didn't do very good with Nick Chubb as their main back, but Nick Chubb's out for this season, and Kareem Hunt has stepped into his place.
Now we have the Dallas Cowboys. Nelson, take it away.
The Dallas Cowboys also losing key players in their QBs, causing them to suck. But Dalton Schultz has been good with 35 receptions, 383 yards, 10 yards per attempt, and 2 touchdowns. On a Dallas team that has really sucked this year, Dalton Schultz has done his job.
Yeah, definitely. He's been a good player. But anyways, on to the Denver Broncos with a surprising rookie.
Yeah, Jerry Jeudy. I think it was a steal kind of late in the draft. Has 30 receptions, 500 yards, 16 yards per attempt, and 2 touchdowns. Didn't mind, this guy is a rookie. I thought he would go a little earlier. But Jerry Jeudy has been good. He's questionable to play this week. We'll see if he does. He's definitely one of the Broncos' top receivers. Again, we'll see if he plays this week and see how good he does.
Yeah, definitely. And now we are on to the Detroit Lions, and an obvious one being Adrian Peterson. Just give it to him on the 5 yard. With 5 yards to go, he gets the first every time.
You can give it to him and he'd take up the whole quarter and he score a touchdown. He's one of the he's an all-time great. And there's no way he can beat 93 rushes, 350 yards, 3 yards per attempt, and 2 touchdowns by Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, definitely. Now we are on to the Green Bay Packers, and a surprising wideout. He's kind of a backup to
Alan
wideouts
Lazard.
in the league, Devontae Adams. Nelson.
13 receptions, 254 yards, 20 yards per attempt, and 2 touchdowns. Those stats do stick out on this team. Again, those aren't Hall of Fame stats, but if you watch Alan Lazard, he's definitely a skilled player.
Yeah, that was Alan Lazard, by the way. So now we're on the Texans.
Dan, can you hear me?
Deshaun Watson on his Texans team, I personally thought he would do terrible this year, losing one of the best wide receivers in the league, being DeAndre Hopkins, going over to be friends with Kyler Murray. But he has a 68 completion percentage, 2,376 yards, 8 yards per attempt, 17 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. And this might mind you later earlier in our video of Josh Allen. Those are pretty much the same stats. Josh Allen has 68.9 completion percentage, 2,587 yards, 8 yards per attempt, 19 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. You can see how those stats are similar. That just shows you why Deshaun Watson to me was an outstanding player.
Yeah, definitely. Anyways, on to the Indianapolis Colts.
Colts. As you probably think, we're going with the defense. The Colts defense is ranked number 1 in the league, and the most outstanding player or surprising player we've seen off of that team has been Xavier Rhodes with 2 interceptions, returned for 44 yards and 1 touchdown. This is on an underrated Colts team. Nobody really realizes how good they are. And Xavier Rhodes, he's had a pretty surprising team.
Yeah, definitely. Interesting coming off the Vikings. Anyways, on to the Jacksonville Jaguars with running back James Robinson.
He's been an average player for years, and this year he just literally blew up for an average running back. He has 132 rushes, going for almost 600 yards, but laying just short at 580 for 4 yards per attempt and 5 touchdowns. Like I said, he's usually just an average back, and this year he's having a pretty good year.
Yeah, definitely.
A Jags team that's not making the headlines.
Definitely this older Adrian Peter-esque type player who you can give to and he can just truck through, you know. Anyways, on to the Kansas City Chiefs.
For Kansas City, this whole team has been great. And this was a really hard choice.
But we have Tyrann Mathieu. Nelson, can I get the stats on Tyrann Mathieu?
Yes, you can. He has 2 interceptions for 43 yards and 1 touchdown. He's been in the league for a pretty long time. But an outstanding player, and just did a little more things than he was supposed to this year.
And for the Las Vegas Raiders, we have no one. No one has
They
been
have
good
absolutely nobody to surprise me. Like, at the most, it's been Josh Jacobs, who's had this exceptional year. But still, for the Las Vegas Raiders, we have no one.
Yeah, but for the Los Angeles Chargers, we do have someone. Our third quarterback, I believe. Justin Herbert.
An outstanding rookie. Who was supposed to play backup, and he ended up going into a game for Tyrod Taylor, and he just did so good. They decided to start making their starter. He has a 67 completion percentage, 8 yards per attempt and 2,146 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. No, those sound a lot like Josh Allen's and Deshaun Watson's stats. And next we're going on to Darrell Henderson.
The Los Angeles
He's a
Los Angeles team. A good running back. Now I can take it from here.
Taking the place of Todd Gurley, he has 95 rushes for 458 yards. for 4 yards per attempt and 3 touchdowns. He's just had an excellent year, taking the place of a really good running back. Standards hard to live up to, and he sure did it this year. Next, we got Miles Gaskin.
Of the Miami Dolphins, average running back throughout his years. This year, he was way better.
Way better than average. 100 rushes, 387 yards, 4 yards per attempt, and 2 touchdowns. For an average running back, he's done great. Next, next we have Justin Jefferson.
Of the Vikings, another good wide receiver out of last year's draft.
Yeah, last draft we definitely had a good wide receiver draft, you know. But he has 34 receptions, 627 yards. He gets almost 20 yards per attempt, and he has 3 touchdowns on the season.
Yeah, definitely a good player for the Vikings to fill Stephon Diggs. Okay, now we have the New England Patriots. Nelson, can we get the New England Patriots, please?
Yeah, Stephon Gilmore on a team that's defense has not been what it was last year. But cornerback Stephon Gilmore stayed the same with an interception, returned 15 yards. Didn't quite go all the way for the end zone. But he's only played 6 games, missing the first couple of games.
Nelson, for the New Orleans Saints,
and
we have
on a team that's been terrible, he stuck out. For the Saints, we have Trey Hendrickson with 7.5 sacks, 15 tackles, 0 forced fumbles. But, you know, that's okay. For the Giants, another team that's been pretty bad, we have Blake Martinez, who has 2 sacks, and get this, 54 tackles. He's played 9 games and forced 1 fumble on Ronald Jones versus the Tampa Bay Bucks. For the Eagles,
Next, we have the Jets.
Oh, nobody on the Jets has been good. We can skip them.
And now we're to the Philadelphia Eagles.
You might disagree with this, but I have Boston Scott. Stepping in for the place of Miles Sanders, their main running back. When he gets injured. But in those games, he has rushed the ball 48 times for almost 200 yards, getting 4 yards per attempt. Didn't punch one in the end zone in those games, but still stepping in for a pretty good whatever it's called running back.
And now now we're on the Pittsburgh Steelers.
We have my man Mapletron, otherwise known as Chase Claypool, with 31 receptions for 444 yards, getting 14 yards per reception and 5 touchdowns. 4 of them coming in 1 game versus the Eagles. Next, we have Jerick McKinnon. Stepping in for injured Raheem Mostert. Has 59 rushes for 261 yards, 4 yards per attempt, and 5 touchdowns. He's been on multiple teams. But next, let's go to Russell Wilson, the Seahawks.
Now for the Seahawks, we have Russell Wilson. Nothing needed.
Yeah, you might have heard our last video. I said Russell Wilson's going to be the MVP next year. Moving on, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We have Rob Gronkowski, otherwise known as Gronk, with 27 receptions coming out of retirement for 321 yards, 12 yards per attempt, and 3 touchdowns. Again, coming off of retirement to meet his long-lost friend and QB, Tom Brady. Next, let's go to Titans with Juno Smith. The tight end, complementing their offense of Derrick Henry. He has 26 receptions, 318 yards, 12 yards per reception, and 6 touchdowns.
Now
That's
we're
pretty
on to
good
the
for a tight
Washington
end.
football team, the last team. We have Antonio Gibson.
Yes, we do. Antonio Gibson has been outstanding on a team that has not been very good. His stats might not be appealing, but here they are. 90 rushes for 391 yards, 4 yards per attempt, and 5 touchdowns. They're pretty good, and that ends the first topic. Next topic.
We're on to the last topic, by the way. If you were Russell Westbrook, would you want to be staying in Houston?
No.
Yep,
I do not want to play.
2 ball dominant guards on one Rockets team. Not gonna work out. We got a point guard and a shooting guard. The point guard, Russell Westbrook, averages 27 points, 7 assists, but it's stat padding. And then we have James Harden, who averages 34.3 points per game and 7.5 assists. Don't fall for those assist numbers. Stat padding. Okay, guys? It's 2 ball dominant guards. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to play with James Harden either. He's a ball hog. He travels all the time, and I think that will end our video today.
Yeah, neither of these 2 ball dominant guards have over 48% from the field. So if that tells you anything, then that's pretty much it. But anyways, that is the timeout for today. Make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, like the video. 33% of you guys aren't subscribed, so make sure you do subscribe. Anyways, this is us signing off.